Welcome back. In this class, I'm going to show you how to use value graph in the graph editor to modify the spacing of the animation.
So here we're back in this After Effects demo file, and then right now I'm under easing keyframes demo. And here I'm going to demonstrate you how to change the value graph in order to change the spacing of the animation. We can see over here, right now I got 2 keyframes added on this layer, the stick here, from one position to the next. And it takes about 30 frames. And 30 frames is our timing. Keep in mind, we're not going to change the timing of the animation. All we're doing is just to use the value graph to change the spacing. Right now, you can see the stick is only moving on the horizontal position. It's not moving up and down. So that's why I need to go to the position property and then right click separate dimensions. Now you can see the X position and Y position are separated. And now we can delete the Y position because we don't need it anymore. We just need to use the X position. And this chart here, this demo with all the in-between frames, this is to show you how the spacing is going to change by modify or changing the value graph. And yeah, this is a very good way to visualize because most of the times when you are doing animation, all you need to do is just to set 2 keyframes at the beginning and the end. If I don't have this, all the frames in between, you wouldn't be able to realize what's happening to the animation itself. And if you're only concerned with the 2 keyframes, remember, as I said in the first lesson, it is not only the 2 keyframes that you're concerned with, it's all the frames in between that you need to take responsibility for if you want to become a professional animator. Now, let's go to the graph editor. This little button here, just click on it. And I want to use this button here, fit graph to view. It's going to fit to my view here. I want to make it bigger. And now, before I do anything, I want to check which graph am I in. You can click on this button here. It shows you the type of graph that you're in. Right now, I'm in the speed graph. But in this lesson, I want to talk about the value graph. We're going to talk about the speed graph later on. Let's just switch to value graph. And this is the graph that you get. So what it means right now is from left to right, it's actually increasing in time. From left to right, just like your timeline is increasing in time. And then from bottom to top is increasing in value. Whatever value it is right now, the value is X position. If you modify the size of the object, it's going to be increasing in size. In this case, we're increasing in X position values. And this graph, you can see there are 2 key points at the beginning and the end. And these 2 points correspond to our keyframes. If I click on the 2, hold on Shift, click on the 2 points here, select the 2 points on the value graph. If I go back to the timeline, you can see the keyframes are selected. So modifying or changing the points in the graph is actually changing the keyframe. Say if I want to change the timing of the animation, I can just grab this point and then move it to maybe 25 frames. And if we go back to the timeline, you can see our keyframe is changed to 25 frames. Since we don't want to change the timing, we only want to play with the spacing. So I can change it back to 30 frames. Now first let's do a default easy ease. Let's hold down Shift and click on both keyframes and then hit F9 to easy ease the keyframe. Now you can see this is a system default easy ease. And you can see over here, the position, the spacing of the sticks are changing. It's closer together at the beginning and closer together at the end. What it means is that it's slowly picking up speed and then going faster in the middle, slowly picking up speed, going faster in the middle, and then going slower at the end. If I play the animation, You can see it's slower at the beginning, picking up speed, and then in the middle it's faster and then slowing at the end. So the way to visualize the graph is, at first, because right now the thing that I want to teach you is to just by looking at the graph editor, the value graph, you will be able to tell what the animation is going to be based on the different type of graph you're getting in the graph editor. For the value graph, what you need to remember is here at the 0-second mark, you can see there is a Bezier handle, there's a tangent of the curve, and right now the tangent, the Bezier handle is flat. So flat means 0, speed is 0. So at the beginning of the animation, the object speed is actually 0, and then as it goes to the middle, right now you can see this points here. If I add a tangent, I can just click on command and then hold on command, mouse left click. I can see there is a tangent that I added in the center. So this tangent, this Bezier handle is actually steeper. It's not flat anymore. It has a angle that going diagonally. So this, the steeper this tangent is, the Bezier handle is, the faster the speed is. So based on this graph, we can tell the animation at the beginning, since the Bezier handle is flat, is from 0 going faster, and then slowing down at the end. And that's also what this charts tell you. The closer the spacing are, the slower the animation is, and then the further apart the sticks are, the faster the animation. Let me just delete this point in the middle here. Go back, and then let's go to the end of the animation. Right now, if I just slightly changing the flatness of this Bezier handle, and you can see it's not flat anymore. It's probably got a like a 10 or 15 degree angle. So that means the animation doesn't stop at the end. The speed of the object is not 0 at the end, because 0 is flat and now it's never becoming 0. So if I have more keyframes go past this or animation go past this, the stick is just gonna keep moving. It's not gonna stop at 0 because the handle is not flat anymore. And let's say if I move this all the way down, you can see the tangent, the Bezier handle, is much steeper. It's so steep that you can see this chart here, the stick are further apart, which means the speed is faster. And based on this type of graph, value graph, we can tell that the animation, the object goes from 0 speed, slowly picking up speed, and then going faster, and then boom at the end. And the end is never stopped, so it happens very abruptly. It's very fast at the end. If I play the animation, you can see what it looks like. So that's what it looks like. This type of curve, you can see it's slow at the beginning and then fast at the end. If I show you another type of curve, so this is just for you to play around with. I'm gonna have this file available to download. You don't have to remember everything I teach you. We're gonna practice every single thing that I teach you here, and then you're gonna be able to just look at the value graph and know what type of animation is gonna happen to your object. Well, the ultimate goal of knowing the value graph is to just look at the type of value graph you have and knowing what kind of animation is applied on your object. So we're gonna get there with practice, with more lessons to come, but I guarantee you in the end, you can be so precise with your animation. You can just mimic whatever animation you see in other people's work and then make your animation so smooth and so precise and deliberate to do whatever you want with your object, with your animation. And now, so as we said here, if I just grab this handle, pull it over, and then grab the first handle, pull it all the way, you can see our chart here, it's so close together at the beginning and then further apart in the middle. Let me make it so extreme. So you can see what it means is that right now, the object is moving so slow at the beginning, it's easing, and then all of a sudden it picks up speed so fast and then it slows down again. Let's see what it looks like with this type of value graph. You can see without changing any of the timing, only changing the spacing of the animation, this animation feels much faster than our linear animation. It's got so much energy to it. And another thing I can do is I can just pull this thing back a little bit and then pull this forward so that you can see the Bezier handle is steep at the beginning, which means the object comes in with the speed. Before, our object at 0 second is with 0 speed. And now, since it's got a curve at the start, which means the object already has a speed coming into this frame, and then it's fast at the beginning, and then slowly stop at the end. Let's see what it looks like with this type of animation curve. Speed up at the beginning, and then slow down in the end. And you can also see the first two stick, they're so further apart, which means fast at the beginning and slow at the end. And then there's some other ways that I can modify the graph. Let's say if I want to change it this way. And now just remember, steepness equals speed, flatness equals slow. And you can see from the first second, the graph is steeper. The tangent, just look at the Bezier handle. If it's the Bezier handle is now flat, it's got speed. The steeper the Bezier handle is, or even the tangent of the graph is, the faster the movements are. So it's fast at the beginning, and then around 15 frames, it's slowing down. It's almost flat, but it never stops at the center here. It never comes to a stop, and then goes faster again. Let's see this animation. So fast, slow, fast. Look at that. So that's interesting. If you don't know how to modify the spacing, how can you achieve that? There's no way that you can achieve. You can probably achieve it, but then it's not going to be so smooth. By just changing the spacing of this animation, we get this smooth transition. You can see the object slowing down in the center there. And then if I want to add another keyframe here, let's say if I want to add another keyframe, just hold down Command on the keyboard and then left click, add a keyframe. So this is how you add a keyframe. If you go back to the timeline, you can see I also added a keyframe in the timeline. But once you know how to animate graphs, you don't even need to go back to the timeline. You just do everything. You just add keyframes, do your animation within this view here. You don't even need to go back to the timeline view. This thing is so flexible. You can do so many things to it. You can do so much stuff. Right now you can see the tangent is not flat. What if I made it flat? It's flat here, which means the object stops at the middle. The speed actually becomes 0 for a second, not a second, for a moment, and then pick up speed again. So if I preview this animation, you can see the object stops in the center. Now what I want you to do is just to take this project file, come to this easing keyframe demo, and then just play around in the value graph. Just make sure you change it to value graph instead of speed graph, and then see what kind of spacing you have over here and what kind of animation you will have with different type of graphs. Next, I'm going to show you how to use value graphs to animate some of the icons and how to apply the things that I showed you here to actual projects, actual animation.